Y'all, welcome back. Loaded Slate Sports Podcast here. My name's Ashton Rodebeck.
My name's Ryan Chapko.
I'm Jack Norman.
Today is May the 2nd, 2023, and we got some big news for you guys, just across the board, really. I mean, we've yet to cover the NFL draft that happened last week. We got tons of NBA playoff content, maybe even some transfer portal college football content. I don't even know where to start with today's episode, to be honest with you guys. We got a bunch of subjects.
Man, so much. When was the last time we spoke with these people?
We spoke last week. We did.
Oh, yeah, last
NBA.
week, like Tuesday. I think like a week ago today, actually. So not that long ago, really.
Pretty much on pace, but, I mean, it's just so much has happened since then.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know where to start. Do you guys have any sort of, like, introductory statements to lead this episode? Like, either direction?
Just like... Well, we first want to shout out Joel Embiid because we just found out today, like literally 10 minutes ago, that he won his first ever most valuable player right in the regular season of the NBA here. So, shout out to him, man. Everyone kind of thought, Jokic was going to win that he was going to get that three-peat in the MVP, but not to be. Embiid, best player of the regular season here.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Everyone's happy about it. I was of the opinion I think he deserved it last year as well.
Definitely.
But I don't know. I mean, some
he's been right up there every year, really, as like most consistent regular season player. And I mean, their team's rolling right now in the playoffs. And I mean, he's a big reason for their success.
This certainly makes Kendrick Perkins happy, obviously.
Definitely, he's always
bullshit,
exactly.
Carry on.
carry on, man.
Carry on,
Carry on.
But yeah, I mean, it's big for him, man. And obviously, I think, are they playing right now? Or are they
I don't know. They just played last night. And
they played last night?
They were phenomenal. James Harden, he had a career night, 45 points. I think he tied his playoff career high. Same, last time he dropped 45 was against Golden State in like 2015. So shout out to him getting back to his old ways. I mean, no Embiid in this game. He was out with a little bit of an injury. We hope he gets back to fully healthy because, I mean, just got his MVP. The MVP should be playing here in these playoffs. But, I mean, Boston, they kind of lose home court advantage here in this series with dropping game one at home. And
100%.
Boston was really in control of this game and kind of just fell apart down the stretch. We've kind of seen it happen a few times now to that same thing kind of happened to them in these playoffs a couple times now. And it's kind of concerning if you're a Boston fan.
This series, man, is one that we've really had highlighted, dude, as a potential series in the second round. These two teams have so much firepower leading into the later rounds of the NBA playoffs. It's going to make it real interesting, obviously. Embiid just won that MVP. Obviously, the Celtics are coming back from a finals appearance, so both teams are hungry, ready to get it.
Yeah, these are rivals, too.
These are big
Boston,
rivals.
Philly, you know how it is.
It's just going to make for entertaining television. And as of right now, Sixers lead that series, obviously.
1-0.
Behind James Harden's performance.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I mean, would you got any thoughts, takeaways on this series?
I could potentially see the Celtics team still making it to the finals, but it all just comes down to can anyone guard Embiid when he gets back. I mean Harden's playing up to his full potential. I mean Maxi's a good player. Tobias Harris isn't bad. So I mean I feel like the Celtics have firepower, and like you said, the Sixers have firepower. So I mean it's just who's gonna win at this point. So.
Definitely. I mean, Philly took care of business in the first round against Brooklyn. I mean, they really didn't give those boys a chance. I mean, we'll see if that can continue here. I mean, Boston, they're like probably one of the most complete teams in the NBA here. I mean, they just got so much depth. I mean, like probably their twos would be running with a lot of the ones in the league on a lot of other teams. So, I mean, they just got so much depth. And, I mean, I don't know. I really could see Philly taking this series if they can get their act together and we can get consistent play from James Harden in these playoffs and Joel Embiid can get back to fully healthy. It's just going to be a big question mark on health for them. But I like Boston a lot too. I think this will probably go to 7 games. I guess I like Philly to maybe squeak by here, but I don't know. I really don't got a good feel on it right now. I think there's a long way to go. These series can change so much.
Yeah, it's too early to call it right now. Obviously, it's a big indication when the Philadelphia 76ers, they get that big win, game one, steal home court without their star, MVP player now.
Exactly. I mean, that's going to draw headlines.
Of course. So
it's way too early to tell. I mean, we've seen so much crazy stuff happen in these playoffs, so it's just one game. We're not going to overreact, but I mean, it's looking good for the Sixers early.
For sure.
Very early, that is. Definitely. And then I also want to talk about another team in the East, because last time we spoke, the Milwaukee Bucks, they were trailing 2-1 to the Miami Heat here. And since we last spoke, the Miami Heat have pretty much proceeded to absolutely shellac Giannis Antetokounmpo, and the Milwaukee Bucks, and really unprecedented. I've heard from a lot of different people that this is one of the biggest, just flat out choke jobs they've seen really in the NBA here, as far as like a team this complete, a team that was like this favored to go to the finals, and they lose first round to an 8 seed. It's unprecedented, really.
I mean, Giannis was out a couple games. I think it definitely threw off the mojo. I mean, at least early on in the series. I mean, Jimmy Butler has been phenomenal. He's out for game 2 in this Knicks series right now. But I mean, I'm just very impressed. I mean, Bam Adebayo's doing his thing. I mean, he has been one of the most consistent franchises. For how long? I mean, Spoelstra's been there for how long? I mean, just so much stability
Since
there.
LeBron days, man.
So I mean, I think they have a good culture there, and I think it all thrives off Jimmy, really. So
yeah, I mean, I think the past week that since we've spoken here, we've learned one thing, and we haven't even really learned it. We already knew it beforehand, but that's that Jimmy Butler is really good at basketball and what he does, and I don't know, man is pretty much single-handedly clawed them past the Bucks there with a bunch of heroic performances. So it'd be interesting to see what they can get done against the Knicks in this round, which is also another red hot team. They did win game 1, so.
Exactly, and I mean, Jimmy was like just phenomenal again, and I mean, he was the best player on the court in pretty much every game they played so far this season. So it sucks that he's going to be out this game, but I don't know. I just the Bucks. I don't know. I think it's going to be tough. It's going to be very interesting to see where they go from here after this. I mean, Chris Middleton, his name's kind of been mentioned as a guy that we could see maybe on the move this offseason. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they go or where they go from here, I guess, after losing in the first round. And are they going to fire the coach? Are they going to keep the coach? Like, I've heard a lot of different things, so it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. But, I mean, like, Jimmy and the Heat, I mean, this is like the second time now that they've beaten these Bucks, like, handedly in these playoffs. And, I mean, they've been underdogs, like, both times that they've done it. And, I mean, last time the Bucks beat the Heat in the first round, I mean, they went all the way to the finals. And, I mean, they're up one game right now on the Knicks. I mean, that's early as well. And, I mean, with Jimmy out, I mean, he's just a great player, and
I saw so much Budenholzer slander on the timeline, dude. It was crazy, dude.
Man, there's a lot on the timeline. It was
there's
ridiculous.
People calling him to be fired and stuff. I mean, they still won a title a few years ago, but
they did.
I've seen a lot of people get mad at like Giannis's like answering like the conference room about like the winning thing. Like he didn't think this year was like a waste of a year because
they were the number 1 overall seed.
Yeah,
but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess we just have different perspectives on what we think is a successful season.
You play the season to go far in the playoffs. And,
I mean, you're the number 1 overall seed. You lose in the first round to the Heat, the 8 seed Heat.
I mean,
they were on the ropes in the play-in.
Right.
Literally.
Like I mean, don't count this Heat team out. Obviously, like we mentioned, Jimmy Butler is just a different animal. Hopefully, he can remain healthy for the rest of the series. I know obviously he's missing this game, but I mean, this is not a team to count out. But yeah, I
feel like I don't know. It's really crazy because some players are good regular season players and don't really kick it in the playoffs. But like Jimmy's just one of those guys that I feel like he has like a steady regular season, but in the playoffs I feel like he just goes to a different level. I mean, just carrying them literally.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's a couple guys in the league that are like that. They just take their game to like a completely different level in the playoffs. Like like Kawhi too. I like to think of him as a guy that just takes his game to a completely
when Jimmy was on the T-Wolves, they were like a 3 seed. I mean, like I feel like every place he's been to, like they've won games. Like they've been a good seed and they've made it like decently far in the playoffs, maybe like a round or two. But like,
remember when Jimmy beat the first team with the third stringers, him and the third stringers against all the other starters on the T-Wolves and beat them by like 20. Those were good times.
Jimmy's done some crazy shit in his career.
He's awesome, man.
He's a phenomenal player. But yeah, I mean, this game's underway right now. Game 2, Knicks lead early 6-3. Jalen Brunson's made a couple shots here, so yeah, I mean,
what he's done all playoffs, really.
I mean, Jalen's a stud. We haven't even mentioned the Knicks. They squeaked by. I wouldn't even say squeaked by. They just rolled through the Cavs.
Surprisingly rolled through the Cavs.
Much to our surprise, we all picked the Cavs, I think, to win that series. But I mean, Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle have just been incredible. I mean, the Knicks, this team, I mean, they've been counted out obviously, but playing at the Garden is something to behold in playoff atmospheres. I don't know, man. I mean, obviously the Heat steal game 1 there, kind of take home court advantage. But how do you guys see this series playing out?
I have no idea.
I have
at
no
all.
clue because I
early.
feel like these are just teams that really just hit their stride at the right time. I mean, playing their best ball. So I mean, with Jimmy out tonight, I would like to see the Knicks like tie it up. Get the mojo back and swing in for Game 3. But
It all
I can
depends
see-
on Jimmy's.
I can see this going to 6. I can see this going to 7. I don't really have a read like a favorite right now.
Yeah.
Like if Jimmy's playing, how can I not pick against the Heat?
But
Like I
feel
mean,
Randall's
feel
gotta
like
be on his game. Randall's gotta.
I feel like
be
Jimmy's just gonna
efficient,
drop
he's
like another
gonna-
55-point game and just like will his team to victory like he always does. I mean, that guy's it's crazy. He just carries his team on his back.
Yeah. It's something to behold for sure.
It's insane.
I think we can move to the other side of the aisle with the game that's on later tonight, the Warriors and Lakers. We can shed
So,
some more light on those two series in the first round.
I mean, the Warriors and the Kings, the
Yeah.
only series to go to 7, I think.
What a
Mhm.
series too! I mean, I
Incredible
thought that was the
series.
best, probably the best first round series. I mean, some people would say so.
Exactly. I mean, it looked like the Warriors were going to close it out in 6, and I mean, then
Looney had like
Yeah.
18 rebounds. Like he just went off. I saw a lot of people talking about Sabonis and how he played. Draymond was saying like he has no respect for Sabonis. Did you see that?
Damn.
Jesus.
Damn,
on his
Draymond.
podcast, so
Jeez. I got to hop on the podcast.
he said Sabonis couldn't handle losing. That's what he said. So, I mean, the Warriors just doing what they do. I mean, they haven't been good on the road this season, but I mean, we thought they were gonna eventually close this series out.
And they
though,
did.
so.
They just kind of showed that they got that, more veteran team, that championship.
Curry just played phenomenal in
exactly.
Game
Curry
7.
game
Like,
7 went
Yeah,
crazy.
he's-
so.
he's like
Exactly.
right when you need. I mean, proven like
Vintage Curry.
he's still a top 3 player in this league, probably. I mean, when he's at his best. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was really special to see. But I mean, this Lakers squad is hitting their stride at the right time for sure. I mean, look, it all just depends on if AD can stay healthy. I mean, I feel like that's what their problem's been these past couple of years. But I like the surrounding pieces. I saw Austin Reeves has been going off this
Yeah.
playoffs, and I just D'Lo had a game where he dropped like 30 plus. So I mean, he's looking good in his new role for the Lakers. So it's interesting to see. But my question is, I just don't know who's gonna guard Bron. That's really what this series comes down to.
Yeah, I mean, we know who's going to guard LeBron. I mean, these Warriors. I mean,
Right.
how many times they played LeBron in these playoffs? They know LeBron so much. I mean, they know him so well. They know him like the back of their hand. They played him how many years in a row in the finals? So I mean, this is their could potentially be their last ever kind of like meeting of the Warriors against LeBron here. So it's like we kind of get like a throwback here a little bit to those years when we got LeBron and the
I feel like
Cavs.
both these teams like windows are just very closing.
This
I
is
feel
it,
like
yeah.
with their cast and just their players getting older and stuff like that. So
That's something I was going to mention about both these teams and their matchups in the previous round. It was kind of the experience overarching against the youth.
The young teams,
the
yeah.
Grizzlies and the Kings.
It's kind of been like that on all sides too. I mean,
Right.
you look at Jimmy Butler
Right.
and then James Harden on the other side, and they're just doing their thing at 33
Right.
years of age, and I mean it's kind of showing that they can still play basketball at a high level late into their careers like that.
Oh yeah, it's going to make for a very entertaining series. This Lakers Warriors
Mhm.
series.
Mhm.
I don't know. It would be dumb of us to even give a prediction at this point because there's no read. They haven't even played a game.
They haven't even played a game yet.
So we're not even going to roll with that, but we just know that it's going to be very entertaining.
It's gonna be very
We'll be here to
entertaining, yeah.
give the analysis of it as it goes on.
for sure. And I mean, we'll talk a little bit too about the Lakers absolutely sunning the Memphis Grizzlies
Yeah.
in the first series. And I mean, we got news today that
the Wild Shams
Grizzlies
doesn't want them anywhere
Yeah, they
near the
don't-
organization.
They don't
Exactly.
want Dylan Brooks.
they don't want
his
Dylan
ass.
Brooks anywhere near the organization.
I
So
saw everyone-
that's interesting.
Like Guangdong Sharks or something. I saw a bunch
Interesting.
of like the Guangdong Sharks.
I think this will probably be good for the Grizzlies in the long run. I think a fresh start is probably a good thing too, also for Dylan Brooks.
I saw people freaking out to a Jaren Jackson tweet.
What did you
Jaren Jackson
tweet?
tweeted like, "Thank you Memphis for everything."
Where's
Everyone's like,
What are you
"Come here,
going?
come here," and then he like subtweeted it and he says, "I'm staying in Memphis."
I tweeted then.
I don't know. I just feel like they have such a fragile culture there
They
right
do.
now, dude. Everything
I
is.
feel like they're gonna be back though.
I agree. I mean,
I feel like just the youth in their roster. I mean,
They're catching a lot of flack right
they got
now.
the talent, but
I feel like they need that next piece.
it's just the culture.
They need some veterans.
ripping apart slowly at the moment.
Bojan. They can take
for deeper.
What? We'll
They
take.
got off the
Hey,
pistol.
we'll take them. Low key, we need some wings. I'll
Yeah.
take them.
Yeah.
I'm interested, honestly. Very interested.
Yeah.
If he wants to come here, more than welcome. D Brooks. Troy, get this man a contract.
I just think he took their whole mentality to a whole nother level, and it pretty much just became corny at that point.
It was very corny. It's still, I mean,
yeah, it's kind of funny to look back on, obviously, but no doubt in my mind they'll be back as well with John Moran. They got a
we'll
talented
see.
squad.
Yeah.
And with the Kings, man, we gotta mention the Kings and honestly give it up for them, bro, because they had a hell of a season. First time making the playoffs since 2006. You know, they lit the damn beam. They went crazy this season. Got the third seed in the Western Conference, which is certainly no easy feat.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, they fall to the more experienced and better team.
Yeah,
De'Aaron's a stud, man.
I'm super interested to see what this season was or if the Kings can duplicate what they did this season, next season. I mean, consistency is the hardest thing in the sport. I'm super interested to see if they can maybe improve upon even what they did next season. Maybe have a good off season coming up too. So it'll be very interesting to see how they go from here because they kind of got this good culture now down there with Mike Brown, and they're kind of building something.
Yeah, most definitely they are. They the shit they did this year was pretty much unprecedented for the franchise in the past 20 years just about. So major W for the Kings for sure. I expect to see them back next year. I expect to see them back.
I think so too.
Yeah. What's the other series we got?
Yeah, we got the Suns.
Nuggets and Suns, yes.
I mean, both.
2-0. Nuggets right now.
The Nugs are kind of handing it to the.
Very surprising. I thought this series would have been tied 1-1. I mean, early on. I mean, I feel like both these teams have good superpower, star power. I mean, with KD on the Suns and then Jokic. I mean, playing some really good ball in the playoffs. I mean, there's been a narrative that Jokic isn't good in the playoffs or anything, but I feel like really what he's done, he's just stomped that narrative. I mean, he's a walking triple-double for a big guy. I mean, he won back-to-back MVPs for a reason. So, I mean, this Nuggets team is healthy, and I think it's a great thing to see. I mean, running into this second round here.
Yeah, I, for one, am not surprised at all by this 2-0 deficit here for the Nuggets. Because like I said in my preview of the Suns and the Clippers earlier, I think these Suns are softer than Charmin. I think if the Clippers were fully healthy, they would have washed these Suns like some laundry in the washing machine. But I really just think I think Chris Paul. I mean, Chris Paul is going to be out for games 4, 5, and 6, and that might actually be a positive thing for the Suns because I think Chris Paul's playoff
pain time.
I think Chris Paul's just. I don't trust Chris Paul in the playoffs. I don't trust KD in these playoffs alone without those Warriors and Booker. I don't know what to expect from him on a game-to-game basis here, so I really don't know. On these Nuggets, Jamal Murray's been playing like the best player in the series so far, and everyone kind of forgot about him. And I think these Nuggets,
he was hurt.
I think these Nuggets are just that good.
You know, to go off from what you were saying, I honestly think that if the Suns just rolled out KD and Booker against the 5 Nuggets team. Players that they would be better off in this series. They have no depth on this squad.
That's really hurting the Suns.
Absolutely.
They really have just nobody on their bench. I mean, Okogie, he's been really struggling thus far too for the Suns too. And I mean, I don't know. They're playing like Jock Landale.
I mean, depth matters in the playoffs. I mean,
really
for sure.
Does.
I mean,
definitely.
I mean, like
especially when these players go out and stuff.
I turned on.
This is what it's down to.
I turned on the Nuggets Suns game last night, and I was like, Christian Braun was getting minutes for the Nuggets. And
was he a second round?
And he was playing nice. He was hitting shots. He was guarding. I mean, like that's just like underrated depth in playoffs that like you don't really you kind of take for granted sometimes.
Yeah, the Suns just don't have
Brown.
Yeah, he was hooping too. I saw him out there. Yeah, he's nice. He's a nice role player.
Trade him for a bag of chips.
He's a nice role player. I would have. Yeah, they Pistons should have got more from that trade.
Yeah, I agree. Suns are cooked here, man. I mean, Jokic is too much to handle, and Jamal Murray, like you mentioned, playing.
Unless we can get some vintage KD performance, like a couple 40-point games, a couple good games from Book and Ayton. We always forget about him too. If Ayton can kind of slow down Jokic a little bit, and they can kind of play some better defense, because I mean, I think that the Suns are by no means out of this. I mean, they've lost 2 on the road. I mean, the series doesn't start until a team wins on the road, right?
True.
I mean, isn't that how it always goes? So, I mean, it's by no means over, but it's not looking great for the Suns without Chris Paul now for the foreseeable future. So we'll see how it goes.
Us as watchers and just connoisseurs of the game here, man, we want the Suns to win. We want to consume more basketball. So hopefully they can get it together and win some games here in the series to make it interesting.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the landscape of the second round of the playoffs here. We got some good series. Some good series that concluded in that first round. So I'm feeling pretty good about this next round here. Yeah.
For sure.
Do we have any takeaways on it to end?
I feel like I was downing the Nuggets for the most part, but I feel like they've quieted me down like these.
Have they lost a game in the playoffs?
One to the T-Wolves.
Yeah,
they lost.
Oh, they did. I thought they were 6-0.
So I mean, I feel like they quieted me down a little bit because I thought the West had just a lot of disparity, a lot of different teams that could have made that leap, and so far the Nuggets definitely quieted down every doubt.
I think this has just been the most wild year in the NBA I can remember. I mean, there's so much parity. I mean, the 8 seed beat a 1 in the East.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much. 7 beat a 2.
I mean, it's just
Lakers
a
took
testament
down
to
the
the NBA
Grizzlies.
playoffs. I mean, I feel like just like out of the 3 major sports, I mean, it's like no other. I mean, the NBA playoffs for a couple months, it's just high level basketball, players giving it their all. I mean,
that's what's so special about the NBA playoffs as opposed to all the other leagues is that it just takes more time. There's more viewing. There's more, just more games. Multiple different rounds, and each series is 7 games, so there's more basketball, and that just makes for more interesting entertainment here. So that's what I think kind of propels the NBA amongst all the other leagues, to be honest.
Definitely.
So,
Definitely.
It's exciting. But yeah, I mean, I feel like this is a good transition into the